Hello everyone, and welcome to another week of writing and going on tangents about writing, being an author and a publisher. It's Monday, it's the last day of July, and the weather is anything but summer-like. In fact, it's raining every now and then, and I had to find something other than shorts to wear. Seeing how good last week worked, I decided to go to the cafe as soon as I woke up and start writing. Once I'm done, I'll go back home, grab a bite, and then go to the gym. The weather was actually quite fitting for the scenes I would be writing today. I started off by killing one of the main side characters, which is always hard to do. In fact, I get quite emotional during such scenes and bet I would have been crying if I was not writing in a public place. After I got around half of my daily works done, I had to take care of some publishing related things. Amazon is paying us authors and publishers at the end of the month, which meant that I needed to move the money into the sub-accounts of the authors we've published until it's time to pay them. At the same time, I had to settle a few invoices for translations and audiobook narrations. Once that was taken care of, I continued writing, moving into what I think will be the hardest scene I've ever written, and don't you know it, it's another death. I did the whole setup, which is an epic battle, wrote the sacrifice, and then switched to the dying character's POV. At that point, I reached my 4,000 word goal, and since it was already getting a bit too much for me, I decided to stop and continue with the chapter tomorrow. I'm sure that writing this scene with a fresh mind will make it even more impactful. So that was Monday's writing for me. I'm heading home, then to the gym, and quickly back for a shower as I'll be watching Oppenheimer with my partner tonight. The weather is still shit and this is going to be a supremely busy day. I woke up around 8:30 and took Poco for a walk before going to my favorite cafe. As I thought yesterday, getting into the scene with a well-rested mind worked really good. By the way, I'm sorry about the bad angle of this shot, but sometimes it's not easy to film yourself in public. Anyway, I'm not going to get into details regarding this scene, but maybe some information on how I approached it might be interesting. I feel that death scenes can be shocking quite easily, especially if the reader isn't expecting them. However, I wanted to focus more on an experience that would make the reader feel the pain of the characters, especially because everyone was probably expecting this death. So it's not the moment of death that makes us cry, but rather how the rest of the characters deal with loss. A funeral is much sadder and emotion-provoking than the actual moment of death. Throw in an animal who isn't able to comprehend death the same way humans can, and that's a recipe for making the readers and yourself cry. I managed to write a bit less than 4.2 thousand words today, but I'm still not done with the really sad part of the story. I needed to stop though because I don't want to overstretch myself. This part is perhaps the most important of the whole trilogy and the one that people will remember for years after finishing the series. Or at least I hope so. For this reason, I'm saving the file, backing it up and switching to some admin work. Once that's taken care of, I'll try to spend some time on the Switch. Surprise, surprise, it's rainy and cold again. I woke up around 9, took care of some admin tasks and walked to the cafe to write at around 10:30. I want to be done early today since I'd like to prepare my luggage because I'll be flying to Spain tomorrow. Writing was much slower than I wanted today, but I still managed to do more than 4,000 words. I think today was a bit hard because it was the third consecutive day where I was writing sad scenes, with today's being the hardest of them all. On the other hand, I went through them all now and our main character is now heading to the big final battle with the ultimate antagonist. I did not want to start the battle as I'd like to write it in one go, since there will be a lot of things happening, so I stopped right before it. The big bad is offering our main character a way out of this, and I carried at the point where he is actually tempted to leave it all behind and run away. This way, when I start writing again, probably next week, I will hopefully be able to continue right away. The book is at 82,000 words right now, with my goal being around 95 to 100,000. I think this book might fall short of that goal, but that's okay because I don't want to fluff it just so it reaches an arbitrary goal. After all, this will be the conclusion of the series, and it's always a struggle to make sure it doesn't seem rushed or long-winded. Anyway, that's all for today, and probably this week. Tomorrow I'll be in a pool. I thought about whether I should include these days in this weekly video and thought that maybe it'd be fun filming a little bit of Spain. However, I'm sure you're not interested in how I got there, so I'll just let that play in the background and talk about the next series I want to write. Since I'll be wrapping up Physics of the Apocalypse this month, I think I have already decided where I want to write next. I try to write things that excite me, and I never like the saying write what you know, because I only know a few things, but I want to write more books than those few things that I know. At some point, I was watching Dan Brown's masterclass, and he mentioned that we should be writing what we like and what we want to do research on. Since we'll be spending an awful lot of time writing a book series, it better be something that we are passionate about or very hungry to learn and research. For me, that is magic systems and how the magic might be taught in a school or university environment. Oh, and by the way, there is a cool little LAN party area in the airport of Mallorca where people can sit down and play video games together. I think most of them were playing FIFA though. Anyway, some of my favorite parts of the Harry Potter franchise were the classes, and I wish there could have been a bigger focus on that. So I'd love to explore the notion of what the curriculum of University of Magic might look like, what are the chances of finding employment afterwards, and things like that. For this, I'll need to read some books, and I'm already getting anxious to start writing.
For TikTok? For the wiki. Oh, and then you like talk over?
Again, I didn't write any words, but it was great hanging out with friends who are also authors. As much as my friends back home are interested in my stories, they haven't written any, so it's a bit hard for them to relate to the struggle. Also, there are certain things in the making of the story, the pacing, the hooks and the scope, that you will only get good feedback from people who have finished and published books themselves. And of course, it's always great to do it while drinking by the pool. And yeah, this was week 31. Thank you for tuning in and watching my weekly writing video log for Physics of the Apocalypse Book 3. Okay, bye!